Today, guys, I'll be making a new video series about Laravel as I go through this video course from Laracas. I hope you'll be able to learn with me. So, for the intro, what is Laravel? Laravel is a PHP framework, and PHP is a programming language, computer programming language, mainly used in the back end when creating websites. So, website like Google, Facebook, those are websites, and the back end part of those website, for example, is when you enter your email and password, that's for the front end, and when you submit it, that's the work of the back end to process the data from the front end. So yeah, that's what PHP is used for, processing the data from the front end. It's mainly used in the back end. So let's learn how to make websites, guys, using Laravel with this video course from Laracas. So the video course is called 30 Days to Learn Laravel, and it's currently using the latest version of Laravel, which is Laravel 11. So let's get it started.
Laravel document, you'll need to have both PHP load your Laravel app. Immediately, all right, so check this out.
So for the post, guys, sorry for that. As you observed, it's just the intro, but yeah, you can see the quality. Um, let's just continue with the intro.
Hey there, how are you doing? I'm going to let you in on a secret. When I work on courses for Laracast, I just about never, ever write scripts. But this series is a very special one, and I care about you so much that I took the time to sit down and prepare a formal introductory script. And I'd like to read it to you right now. Please be excited. It goes a little something like this. Hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Jeffrey, and I'm here to teach you the ins. I can't do it. It's so boring, and I already know it. Uh, Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I've been working with Laravel for over a decade. And you know what? To pat myself on the back, I'm one of the few people who can say I've actually been working with Laravel for over a decade. Yeah, I was there in the early days, back when Laracon wasn't even a thing. And if Laracon is new to you, that is a Laravel specific conference. These days, they are held all over the world and thousands of people attend. But back then, nobody knew what Laravel was. In fact, when people heard the word, they called it Laravel, not Laravel. And actually, some people still do today. But trust me, the correct pronunciation is Laravel. But yeah, back then nobody knew what it was, and we didn't have a Laracon yet. And when we finally did have a Laracon, maybe, I don't know, 60 people showed up. And you know what? I was one of the presenters at that very first conference. So I say all of this again, not to pat myself on the back, but to persuade you that I've been doing this for a really long time. And if you're just getting started in Laravel, I think I would be a great tour guide. All right, that's my spiel. So if you'd like to learn the ins and outs of Laravel, why don't you come along one day at a time? Let's go. Now, before I can start showing you how to write Laravel apps, of course, the first step, as always, is to get your tooling in order. Now, in the past, when it came to setting up a development environment for PHP, I don't know, it could sometimes be a little bit.
For the post, guys, the next portion of the video will be talking about the setting up, which is if you're new to web development or programming in general, um, it would be kind of hard to swallow. You might have a hard time following it, but yeah, don't be turned off by it and just keep going. And yeah, let's follow his instructions, and I will also be following it in this video, and hopefully you will be able to follow it. Yeah, let's go into the details after watching the next portion of the video.
Overwhelming because there's so many different tools to choose from. It's sort of decision paralysis, right? Which one do I pick? And of course, everyone has a different recommendation. And while that's still, of course, true, these days there are one click solutions that are really incredible and I can happily recommend. So, yeah, maybe traditionally you might pull in a tool like XAMPP or MAMP or WAMP. On Windows, you might use a tool called Laravel. And by the way, all of these are still developed today and they're excellent. The whole point is, and here's another one on the Mac, you could install everything manually, quote unquote, using Homebrew. So you could do things like brew, install PHP, brew, install MySQL. All of these still exist and are great, and they are options for you. But if you're just getting started with Laravel, I can happily recommend Laravel Herd. It's a magical, and I hate using that word, but it's kind of true. It's a magical one click utility to get you up and running, building PHP and specifically Laravel apps. So, right down here, just click on the button. On my machine, I see download for Mac OS, but rest assured there is a Windows equivalent. Otherwise, on Linux, you probably already know what to do. But yeah, otherwise, you might consider this tool, which is still great. Okay, so let's just work through it together and get set up. I will download it. All right, let's drag this to my applications directory, close it out, and open it up. All right, welcome to Herd. Let's get started. All right, notice it is downloading PHP 8.3, which is the latest version at the time of this recording. Now, there is a free version of Herd, and that's going to do everything you need. If you want some extra bells and whistles, you can, of course, pay for a professional version. But yeah, if you don't want to do that, the free version will take you as far as you need to go for this course and further.
Right there.
We'll skip it for now. All right, there we go. So notice we now have binaries for Herd, PHP, Laravel, and a tool called Composer, which you may or may not be familiar with. But either way, don't worry, we will cover it when we get to it. All right, next, all PHP projects placed in the Herd folder will automatically be available in your browser. And this is one of the coolest things. You're going to love this. All right, so let's get started. All right, check this out. If I go up to my menu bar, I now see a new Herd icon. Here's where I can see any processes that I have running. I can switch between the versions of PHP that I have installed. And this is one of the great features. If you have multiple projects where some of them depend on an older version of PHP, you can run those simultaneously on your local machine, which is really cool. You don't have to worry about
So again, um, it would be kind of um, very hard to follow at first, especially that he's talking about multiple versions. But yeah, once you install Laravel Herd, it should be direct. You don't have to change anything, and you'll be able to start um, coding in Laravel. So let's try to focus on the Laravel part. And if you have Windows, yeah, the steps are identical. And if you'll ever have any problems, don't forget to comment, and I'll try my best to reply and help you.
it at all. So notice in this case, it looks like there is an update for 8.2 available. And if I want to pull that in, I can do so with a single click, which is really cool. But anyways, if I switch over to the General tab, Here I can see a list of paths where Herd will search for any potential PHP projects. So by default, you get your home directory slash Herd, but yeah, you can register as many as you want. So in this case, I've added an additional folder called code, and that's fine as well. All right,
That part, it's very important to take note of the directory location, because in that directory locations that by default is on your um, users directory. For example, if my username, I'm on Mac, and so my username is, for example, JM Records, there's a folder in Mac or even in Windows, it's the same. And under that folder or directory, Herd should be found. It's a folder created by Herd, and that's where we will place our Laravel application later on.
let's give this a shot. So I'm going to go into my home directory slash Herd. Of course, it's empty right now. And we're going to use this new Laravel binary. And this is included out of the box with Herd. And this is, again, one of the benefits. It includes everything you need to get up and running right away. So I'm going to say Laravel, generate a new project, and I'm going to think of any name I want. Let's keep it very simple, and we will call it example. All right, so it's going to ask me a handful of questions. Would you like to install a starter kit? A starter kit is exactly what you think. It's a way to jumpstart a project with layouts, templates, authentication. It's really cool. But for now, I want to start from scratch. All right, test framework. Again, we're going to stick with the defaults. Do we want to Git repo? No, we're just playing around. All right, so notice it's creating a new folder called example, and it's pulling in all of these dependencies. And again, you didn't even need to know that Composer was a thing in order for this to work, which is really cool. But again, don't worry. If you want to learn more, you're going to learn more. All right, which database will your application use? Why don't we stick with the basics? SQLite, which is a file-based database. All right, that's done. List the files.
So let's try to follow what he just did. Um, yeah, let's go to our terminal or in Windows command prompt, and in here, um, let's cd to Herd. So let's try to list the files under it. So as you can see, there's no folder or files under it. So let's try to run the Laravel command for creating new Laravel application. And let's also name it as example. No starter kit as well. By default, PES. Um, no for the Git repository. And let's wait for it to be finished. Let's wait a bit more. There. Finally, it's done. And let's use SQLite as well for our database. And yeah, we'll dig in later on what database is. It's now downloading and installing the required files for our Laravel application. Let's just wait, and there you go. It's now done. And by default, let's try to list first and try to go back and follow the video uh, from the video course. I'm sorry for that. It was muted. Okay.
Example project. We'll CD in there, list them again. And that's the Laravel framework, ladies and gentlemen. Really cool. And even better, we can instantly view this application in the browser by visiting the name of the folder
That
.test.
test.
Don't believe me? Let me show you. Let's give it a shot. Example.test. And there we go. Say hello to the landing page for Laravel 11.
So yeah, let me show it to you guys as well. Let me go back to my terminal, and we have already listed the files under it. Let's try to CD as well. We don't have to do this, but yeah, I'm just trying to follow the video. We can jump right away to the example that test, but I'll just follow it for the sake of um being able to have something to follow. So that's the Laravel. And as you can see, the example directory or the project, example Laravel project, has a lot of files, and it generated all of it from the Laravel command we ran a while ago, which is this one. So yeah, this directory, which is under herd, it is configured to be able to run it right away in your website. I hope you can see this one. Let me check there. I will type example.test. Uh, Please wait a little bit. Yeah, and here you are, the landing page or the home page of our Laravel application. So yeah, that's the power of Herd in setting up your Laravel application. It's quite easy. So let's go back to the video course and try to continue.
Everything's configured and we're ready to get started. But now, real quick, before we finish up, if you chose not to use Herd, yeah, you might take a slightly different pathway. And like I mentioned, you could use a tool like Laragon or Xampp or Docker and Sail. And all of those are excellent, but they have slightly different installation steps. So just keep that in mind. If you need any help, be sure to ask questions in the comments below and we'll do our best to help out. Okay, but otherwise, in the next video, you are going to create your first route. I hope you're excited.
So that ends our day one of the 30 days um, to learn Laravel. And yeah, for a recap, in this video, we've been able to follow um, installing Herd in our machine. Uh, Using Herd, we've been able to create our Laravel application. We've named it example, just like the video, and we've been able to visit it as well in our browser right away due to the Herd application. So I hope you'll be able to continue, guys. This is very important if you are very interested in learning how to create websites. So yeah, that's all. Thank you. Be happy. Don't worry, and be safe. Bye bye.